The reason you are struggling to hear your animal isn't because you're doing something wrong. It's actually because you're trying too hard. So if you feel blocked connecting with your own animals, or maybe you're stuck in your own animal communication work, or emotionally just exhausted. Maybe you work in rescues or sanctuaries or veterinarian environments. It's not because you lack the gift. We are first and foremost made of energy. We are energetic beings first, and second, having a physical experience. You are psychic and intuitive by nature. Welcome back. And if this is your first time here on my channel, welcome. One of the biggest things that I've noticed after years of teaching and mentoring, whether privately or in workshops or my master classes or community settings, is that people are already getting the information. We're already receiving the information from the animals in your life, whether they live with you or you care for them outside of your own animals. And this challenge isn't that the connection is broken. The challenge is the stress, the grief, and the burnout, which because that creates so much noise in your mind and the body. And so that connection becomes harder to hear beneath all the noise. You're literally in your own thoughts, your emotions. And that side of the brain, that's actually trying to analyze and figure everything out. Animals, they know this, that you're in your journey. They are so patient and they are very persistent in showing you intuitively how they're communicating with you. And many people think that animal communication is about trying harder. It's trying to hear more or see more or get the right message. But the more pressure that you place on yourself, the more you actually leave and remove yourself from being in the present moment. And that moment that you leave, well, that's where the fear actually comes in and it blocks your intuitive self. That egoic mind, oh my God, it loves to take over at that point. Animals communicate through a calm, heart to heart state. And that, my dear one, is the frequency. But so often we aren't even aware of how quickly we leave that state. And that's where the second guessing ourselves come in, where fearing you're wrong or you're actually comparing yourself to others. You may also be replaying the grief or even carrying emotional, overwhelming feelings or placing pressure on yourself to perform. That's what happens. It just takes over. Do this with me right now. Take a breath right now. Just that one deep breath. Did you notice how your shoulders dropped? That tiny shift is exactly what the animals are waiting for. And I especially see this with people who work with animals every day. Rescue workers, vet staff, sanctuary workers, energy healers, light workers, deep empathetic animal lovers like yourself. You are constantly giving emotionally, but if you aren't grounding yourself and reconnecting with your own presence, eventually you're going to begin running into those fumes instead of that deep, unconditional loving connection with any animal. Animals don't judge us. They don't judge us for this. What they do is they're constantly reflecting to us where we are energetically, and they're showing us and helping us and bringing us back into the present moment. So this pressure to perform, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. Because it often hits us hardest at home when we are carrying the deep grief of losing a companion. I see so many people become blocked after a loss, especially when the grief keeps replaying those final moments over and over again. But understand this, that animals do not define your connection by one moment. The connection often begins returning when we stop needing proof and simply begin speaking to them, speaking with them. Begin with them, being with them in that present moment through our unconditional love. Not from pressure, not from performance, just love. So the greatest block isn't a lack of ability. It's the belief that we're not good enough. The belief that we must become perfect before we can trust ourselves. Belief defines our reality. So our experiences is what we receive as well as what we relate to the external world. And one of the biggest shifts that happens when we stop measuring our value by perfection and begin to trust the connection that's already there, everything changes. Because it's that realization is exactly why I created Awaken the Animal Communicator Within. It's not about teaching you to become someone else. It's about helping you reconnect with that natural ability that's already within you. So, inside this course, I guide you through a grounded, heart centered approach to help you navigate clearing those energy blocks and emotions of noise. I help you move through those emotional and overwhelming of feelings and self doubt, as well as trusting your intuitiveness, your first impressions, as well as communicating with animals in spirit and deepening that soulful, loving connection you already share with the animals in your life. So, whether you want to connect more deeply with your own fur baby or eventually support other humans and their animals through your work, the foundation always begins within. Animals are constantly inviting us back into presence, back into trust, and back into unconditional love. And maybe that's exactly what your animal has been trying to show you all along. So if you feel called to deepen that beautiful connection with your animals, you will find the link below this video for Awaken the Animal Communicator Within course. And as always, I thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon on the next video.